So in the beginning of this administration, we saw a crackdown on Chinese visas, right? Now the president is reversing course and is actually expanding the number of Chinese students that are going to be allowed to study in the United States. In 2023 to 2024, there were about 278,000 Chinese students in American higher education system. They were the second largest group of international students. That peaked at about 370,000 in 2019 to 2020, but then decreased substantially. Last week, President Trump and the administration announced that they had a new agreement with the People's Republic of China to allow 600,000 Chinese students into the country, just about almost a doubling of the previous high water mark. Ben, this is shocking. As you can imagine, you can see the headline here on the screen. Some of the MAGA faithful are none too pleased with this policy, which seems to be an abandonment of Trump's anti-China American first ideals. The Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, went on television and basically said that this was an essential policy because America did not allow these 600,000 Chinese students. All students would end up moving to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America. These are really interesting arguments from an administration that presumably has been at war with some of the most elite universities, trying to revoke funding from places like Harvard and Columbia and Penn until they comply with different policies. What do you make of all of this, Ben? Is this a good thing that we are admitting these Chinese students? Is this a bad thing? Is it an abandonment of MAGA? Is it pro-MAGA? Help us make sense of it.
Yeah, that's a good tension, right? I think, which ultimately comes down to, I think, the larger issue of how do we attract the best talent in the United States? So if there's going to be a bunch of foreigners from any country coming, like all my ancestors did, how do we get them to be really hyped about America and then contribute and want to keep building this great country? And so the conversion rate, to use a consulting term, how do we convert these into Americans is all I care about. And I think the detailed execution there, because let's keep growing America and getting the best talent here. So hopefully this is a way to do it.
Yeah, it was left unsaid in this conversation is President Trump and Secretary Lutnick, are they advocating the naturalization of these 600,000 Chinese students, as in they become American citizens after? Or are we educating them and then sending them home? Both of those have problems. If you're naturalizing 600,000 Chinese students, there are going to be a lot of people in the U.S. who are saying, wait a minute, I thought we were reducing immigration and try to have a kind of a pro-nativist approach here. We wanted more American birth. They're going to be concerned with that. If you send them home, there's another side that's, wait, hold on a minute. Are we now subsidizing the American education system with full freight paying, tuition paying students? And that's it. It's just about basically a subsidy to American higher education, but not about outcomes for the American workforce. Both of these are fraught. I tend to come down on it. If we're not going to keep them here, if we're not going to integrate these very high performing students into the American workforce, what are we doing? I don't understand why we don't need to fill these slots. I don't have a problem with bottom tier universities going out of business. That doesn't bother me really at all. I think higher education has been overdue for a reckoning in this country for a long time. I'm obsessed, by the way, with this new Alpha School thing. Maybe a future Steam Zone episode. We're going to have to dive deep into Alpha School. 2 hours a day, parents. That's all you need. 2 hours a day. AI, different kind of, I'm a new evangelist. Anyway, for another time. But if we're going to bring these folks here, we damn well better find a way to make them productive and patriotic American citizens. And that, to me, still seems like an unsolved problem. All right, with that, let's go ahead and close that tab.